whoa. Another conspiracy theory post on Facebook. Wow, dude. You know what chances are? You should be a bit more keen on getting the vaccine. Now turn that shit off.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, everybody listening, and with everything going on in the world, talking about the pandemic and COVID-19, we wanted to bring in someone with actual firsthand experience in the hospital. That's right, a
Behind
frontliner.
enemy lines.
To talk facts and basically talk shit about anyone who doesn't believe this pandemic is real.
If you want
Please
to.
welcome. If you want to. Please welcome a registered nurse working at PGH. We're talking Philippine General Hospital, one of the top hospitals in the entire region. And did we mention he's also a genuine zaddy?
Legit.
Introducing Jerom Yamat. How you doing, man?
Yo.
I could not.
Look, man, I know you said you didn't want us to hype you up, but with everything going on and you having the experience you do, we felt that it was just right, man. Not to sound sus, but we had to blow smoke up your ass.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
All right. Yeah, let's get past that point. But good morning, everybody. Or yeah, good day, everybody. Hey, Zack. Hey, Carlos.
Yes. Good morning to all 5 people listening to our podcast. Yeah.
Man, you don't need a lot.
Yeah, our first 5. Yeah. All right. So thank you for joining us today, Rom. Of course, as Zack mentioned a while ago, it's a very difficult time, season 2 of 2020, as we always call it. So given the circumstances, you're working, of course, in the belly of the beast. Everything is just happening so quickly. And of course, we can't really keep track. But given how things are, how are you? How are you handling things right now?
Honestly, man, things got pretty, I think, routine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, at first, when we were, I guess, converted as a national COVID referral center, it was really difficult because we gotta face the reality. COVID isn't the only disease out there.
True.
There's still, we still have cancer patients. We still have patients in the ICU. We have patients for surgery and all that. You have to try to understand that kind of reality. And then comes in COVID. And then we have to cut the resources into 2 and split the whole hospital into a COVID and a non-COVID area. And that was pretty hard to
tough.
At first. And it was really scary, man, at first, because we had a lot of doctors, nurses, some utility workers, and some nurses aides who actually got COVID itself. And we have some pretty serious reports of these actual frontliners experiencing severe syndrome. I'm talking about the signs and symptoms.
Oh,
who actually died of COVID. And so it was a pretty hard, I guess, thrust at first. But I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I mean, I get to talk about this with my barber in like a week and a month. We talk about COVID, and honestly, the situation. I'm gonna be real. We could pretty much handle it better now. We sort of got
that's great.
used to it. Yeah, man. I mean, I just want to bring out some good news because every day is you see the numbers coming up high, and sometimes it gets lower. It's never been fully that consistent to have your statistics to get lower.
Yeah.
But the thing I always say in the end, man, even if we get routinely used to it, COVID is still a real stuff, man. It's still difficult to maintain. With the PPE we're wearing, the protective equipment, we're still not becoming complacent about it. We're still very strict and when it comes to wearing it, and especially when it comes to taking it off, because that's when transmission is highest. because we got exposed already, and we got to be careful when removing such equipment from from our body. And so I guess, yeah, to answer that, um, we got used to it. It felt like, how, like, when you're struck with a challenge, and you have two perspectives. It's like it either breaks you or makes you. And to be honest, it did both of it to us. It broke us and it made us. And yeah, we're actually grateful that we were given enough resources, not a lot, but enough for other people to like continue to shower us with a lot of donations when it comes to PPEs and even food. Like, people come like just flooding us with a lot of resources, and we're grateful because we really felt the support within well, with our hospital, I guess, and with some neighboring
Mhm.
hospitals. So yeah, yeah. I'm
That's
sorry,
Hey,
that was
that's
no,
that's
no,
great. That's
that
great.
was great. That was
Yeah,
great.
it's nice to
Uh,
know, like, from
hey,
yeah, from the source itself, that hey, at least things aren't as horrible as last year. I mean,
absolutely.
that's nice
And
to know. Yo.
Los,
can
I know you got a
hear.
question.
Mm.
I actually, the previous year, let's talk about season one of the
Okay.
pandemic
All
year.
Oh
right.
yeah, yeah,
I,
perfect.
I I was gonna ask that. Okay. Perfect.
I actually got asked to be interviewed by this news media outlet. Can I say the name, or let's rather not? And then it's funny because we talked about like the process on how we get through the interventions to fight COVID, the whole, like, the nursing and the medical process, and like what we go through to prepare for it, what we go through after the transitions between transferring a patient from a COVID to a non-COVID, and all that, traffic within the hospital areas. And it's just funny because I got to realize this firsthand that I'm talking about something, news media related and something political, because we talk so much substance within the interview, but then turns out I realized that news media outlets would just only feature parts where
Mm-hmm.
that's their topic is going to be, which turned
Hmm.
out that their topic is about frontliners getting exhausted, getting tired.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny because it was just like a quick bit it was a quick bit in the segment of the interview, but that was what was only included, and it was highlighted in the news feature. And I was like, oh shit, damn, bro. It's like we talked about
Media,
so many,
bro.
yeah, we talked about so many stuff, and then you just post one stuff like where me, like, the interviewer, like, she really insisted on, just tell me, are you tired? Did you get exhausted? Like, I was like, because honestly, in my perspective, I know some colleagues who are tired now because weirdly, I'm this worker who likes to jump into the challenge. So I'm like, not really. Like, we're good. Like, we're trying to figure out better ways to handle this and that. But then
Mhm.
it's funny because, like, I think I said in one part, yeah, it gets tired too, and like that's what gets featured.
Man,
So yeah,
the
I'm not
context.
trying.
Oh.
I'm not trying to discredit the fact that
Mm-hmm.
COVID is difficult or is not difficult. The point is, I like, I feel like in the industry of politics and news, they only feature stuff that really triggers emotions within their audience.
Right.
So you don't get the
Yeah,
whole news, so you get the whole
sensationalism.
picture.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So, Rom, that being said, um, would you want to share would you want to share here
Yeah,
whatever it is that that particular
yeah,
media outlet
because
blurted out?
guaranteed it'll reach people and they'll know.
It wasn't really very juicy information. It was actually your typical, like, hows to, like, the what to do and what not to do. And it was the rise of, like, these social precautions of the distancing and the wearing of the
Okay.
face mask and the
Okay.
shield. But it was let me think. An important thing that we could have, I guess, released at that point would have been, I think it was a time that we were pulled out in the emergency area. Man, it was really stressful. I'm gonna be honest with you. We had codes, and when we speak of codes, these are people who have like a flat line
Right,
within
like a cold blue.
Yeah.
yeah, cool. So, and we had a lot of that in the ER. Like, when you're stationed in the ER, anything could happen. Like, it could be really benign. It could be a benign shift. Like, you guys could be free for a while, but sometimes it could just be from free to like freaking critical, man. And but at the time of the COVID era for the first season, it was cold like every 30 minutes, every hour, every two
Oh my
hours.
god.
It was something you could both not predict and predict.
Oh,
What you could
jeez.
predict is that there's going to be a code any single moment, but what you could not predict is like at what exact moment. And so, like, you're caring for this patient, and then just suddenly the patient next to you gets a code, and it was just that was a really difficult part. And that's what we wanted to present in the reality. That's what we want to get featured because working in the PJH at that time, where it was at the prime season of the COVID era, it was so difficult to handle, and we could really see how effective turning patients was, like how it would affect their oxygen saturation. Because yeah, the thing is, COVID really attacks the lungs. It's like it's
Yeah.
pneumonal in
hmm
nature, and a lot of patients could breathe better when they're actually lying upside down. And I mean, when you turn the patient with their face forward to the bed, if that makes sense.
Okay.
And
Prone. Yeah. Lying prone. Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
upper position. Okay, I could use those terms, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
on a pro.
By all means, yeah.
It's fine. It's fine.
I'm trying to think of how could I explain this in lay. Yeah, but anyway, yeah, man. Like those are the stuff like we wanted. But you know what's great about that is I actually wrote something about it on Facebook, and it actually got circulated
Mm.
within the Philippine. I think the doctors Viber groups, and it's funny because I received some messages from doctor friends of mine from different areas within the Philippines, and they were like, "Oh my goodness, Jerom, like what you posted, what you wrote, they actually think you're a doctor," and then they're actually receiving the news of what's happening in your ER and like the amount of the codes you receive and all sorts of that. So yeah, that's when I kind of realized that we still have our own medium to express and to release such vital information, especially when it's something that's medical and health related.
Yeah, and that's arguably one of the most important things to talk about nowadays because even at this point, there's still a lot of people who, you know, who question some things that are already right there. You know what I'm saying,
Oh
right?
yeah.
Hey, It's
Mhm.
it's kind of it's both confusing and at the same time upsetting because in spite of the fact that there are people, you know, dying around us, some people still refuse to acknowledge that fact. And hey, if you don't mind, Ram, let's talk about that, shall we?
Legit COVID deniers, bro, and
Oh my god.
you don't even know who's one of them. Like you could just find out later on that it's someone who
It's
was a
it's
friend
your
of
it's your
yours.
long lost Tito who you thought was
Yeah.
cool.
And
Good.
apparently he's a COVID denier. And then when you tell them about people dying in the hospitals, all they're gonna say is, "Ah, hindi may trangkaso yan.
Yeah.
That dude had the flu, and then they just registered it as
Yeah.
COVID."
But have you met anyone like that, Rum? Like, have you encountered any of these kinds of people who probably don't know that you're a healthcare professional, that you're a frontliner, and talk about these things? Have you ever like gotten a chance to talk to these certain individuals?
Yeah, but I did, but not physically. Like only through online messaging. And I heard that like somebody said trakaso lang naman yan. I heard that a very exact line. I feel like that's become a catchphrase among like the deniers of COVID. Um, I got pissed off. I got so pissed off when I heard
Let it
it
out, Rom.
because
Go
they
ahead.
they don't see what we see. Um, okay, this is something we have to accept. Okay, let's be real with COVID. COVID is actually very individual. And when I talk about it, is that it's very individual. It's personal in a sense that, the severity of the signs and symptoms when you get it differ from a person to another. It could actually, like, what we
Right.
usually expect, it's going to be worse when it comes to people of senior age and people of minor age. But it's actually so versatile that sometimes it's someone with, like, a person with good immune system, with with an adult age, with a middle-aged adult, and a middle-aged adult. Because I personally have friends, and I have this really close friend. He's actually a colleague in PGH as well, and it's his brother who actually contracted COVID-19. He was a younger brother. He's in his mid 20s, so around like 24, 25, 26. And he actually only works from home, so it was difficult for us to actually try to trace where he got exposed and where he contracted the disease. But man, when we tested out his liver function test, it was all high, and it was weird because he didn't have any comorbidities. And when we talk about comorbidities, these are if you have some other diseases as well, like if you have hypertension, if you have high blood, if you have diabetes, if you have some allergies, if you have some problems with your lungs or your heart or your skin or whichever other disease that you actually do have in the present, and then your COVID did get to contract within you. He was somebody who didn't have anything. He had like a normal vital signs. He had normal liver function tests
Jeez.
before. He wasn't even a smoker, and he works from home. And can you imagine, like, that healthy individual who doesn't even go out? Well, based from their report, who doesn't even go out, he only works from home, and at that middle-aged adult, it just goes to show that COVID-19 could attack anyone. And
Yeah.
it's funny because COVID-19 attacks in like extremes. Like sometimes it could be as extreme as that. Like someone who's just a healthy individual who does his job. Like it could be us, and it could also be people like who are extremely immunocompromised, but then they might not get COVID. Like people, like I have even relatives who like we would be driving home, and then and like in the very seldom time that I get to go home, and then I get to be in a car with some of my relatives and some of my relatives' friends, and they would be like, "Oh, and look at that, no, look at that person just on the streets with their family. Wala silang tulugan, hindi sila nakamask, and then look at them, they're like immune to the disease." And this is what I'm talking about. And I feel like this is what's making people feel like COVID-19 isn't that serious. You have to understand that COVID-19 has different variants. And this is why it's so difficult for us to become complacent. It's like we could get routinely used to treating COVID-19, but the difficulty with viruses is that they mutate. That's sort of their living nature. They constantly mutate over time and over their area of incidence. It's like you get a mutation. This is why we get mutations in India. We get mutations in Brazil, in Italy, and this is why it's difficult to actually try to manage. And this is what a lot of people don't get to see because what they see is barely what they see in the streets, and I get that. And this is where we have to like completely educate people that it could there's that possibility that it could have already affected these people, and even if they were immunocompromised, sometimes the variants that actually hit them weren't the strong ones, and sometimes genetically based. And this is actually true among different trials within the COVID-19 vaccination period. That some people who were actually immunocompromised actually worked better with these spike protein coronaviruses.
Oh
And
wow.
yeah, this is what I'm saying, that you shouldn't be complacent with what you merely see. And I get it. You know what? I'm actually not mad at these people, like these deniers. I feel like the best way to actually try to convince them is to try to understand where they're coming from.
Mhm.
And
Of
I get
course.
it. I feel like they're also just confused as well because this is what they see on the lay streets. This is what they get to see in the malls. This is what they see, in their everyday casual walking habits. Like people are okay. People are living the pre-normal period again. but we have to understand, yeah, this kind of depth that coronavirus is actually living amongst us. And so, yeah, I guess, yeah, I really just try to understand. I get pissed off, but I do try to understand them as much as I could because I see where they're coming from and I see where they're upset and I see why we're upset as well. But
Yeah.
yeah, the best thing to really convince a person is not to win the argument, but to win the person.
That oh wow,
Right.
that is absolutely true. Because hey,
That's a great way of looking at
yeah,
things.
because I kind of get what you're saying. Because there are some people, like you mentioned, the ones who see these things who aren't completely aware. It's just that they don't really see the bigger picture. So they're a bit easier to persuade, to talk to. Their minds aren't really closed yet. It's just that uh, it needs more information. They're looking for that information. Of course, there are others who are just already dead set on their beliefs, and we can't change
Yeah.
that.
And
And
anti-maskers and all
yeah,
that.
it's just a good thing that those people, they're mostly abroad, so they can go, they can go be careless elsewhere. Still, it's a
I
horrible
guess
thing.
the thing I
Yeah.
guess the difference being though is that in countries that have a lot of people like that, more so in the Western Hemisphere, they have higher vaccination rates and all that. So I kind of also see um, why a lot of them would think a particular way, but it's a very different case here.
I get it. I get it. I
Hmm.
mean, we're to talk about vaccination equity and the whole access to healthcare here in the Philippines.
Hmm.
No, there's a big comparison to that. But just
Yeah.
really goes to show that we have to be extra careful here, living in a developing country.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't have HMOs, right? So that's that's also
I don't even have well, I work in I work in a government hospital and I don't even have one. You guys have one?
well, I had to pay for mine, so
Yeah,
I
there's
mean,
there's
I
that.
personally don't. I used to, but I don't now.
Yeah, it's that's kind of a that's kind of an indicator of where we are. But it's a good thing you mentioned.
exactly.
Yeah, it's good you mentioned vaccines. I know when we talked about this before that we don't really want to go too far because all three of us here collectively, we don't really know that much about the vaccines. However,
Yeah, we're not
yeah,
virologists or
yeah.
people
However,
like that.
we feel that you've been around, of course, this topic. Is that right? Around this topic, or you've been involved in this topic a bit more than we have, Rom. So, how do you feel about vaccines in general? Just your just your opinion, your feeling, of course, based on your experience and your knowledge. We just want to get your take on this, if you don't
I
mind.
love that.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And I love that. Just like bro, it's like we always say like prevention is better than cure.
Right.
That was something that was always in our head, even like before, when decades before, years before, centuries before. Like it's better to not to manage something than to like manage something. Well, the point is like if you prevented the disease in the first place, like we wouldn't have rid polio in the Philippines without vaccine. And yeah, and so yeah, in general, man, like vaccines are science.
Yeah.
So
I
that's I mean I feel like there's nothing further to say about it. I don't get where these people are coming from.
Mm-hmm.
right,
Yeah.
right.
So
And
conspiracies are they talking about? They're like mutations and stuff.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
absolutely, absolutely.
Too much science fiction, I guess. Yeah.
Look, there are people out there who don't go for their second dose anymore, and most of the vaccines that
Really?
are available, yeah, there's like
What?
a lot of people right now who don't
God,
go back for their second dose,
that's
and
messed up.
I don't know why, but Rom, if you have anything to say about that, well, how would you go about telling them, or how would you go about either saying what's better? Because as you've mentioned, prevention is better than a cure.
Can we say curse words here?
Yeah, yeah, by all
Yeah,
means,
I'm
please.
not gonna bleep that. I ain't got time.
Bro, that's totally, I mean, that's just totally bull. I mean, oh god, it just pisses me off. Why? Why
Yeah,
would you take
Rom
the
is so
first?
nice he didn't even say the whole word.
We appreciate that though.
I mean, I mean, because we get patients, man. Like we have to sometimes. I think we got used to controlling ourselves when handling patients, and especially patients' relatives. Yeah, but anyway, man, like,
True, true, true.
man, bro, why would you get a vaccine? Like a first dose without getting the second? It's like getting yourself braces but not getting it adjusted.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
That's
like, what the
true.
fuck? Um, you're not getting the full effect of the vaccine. If you want that, get a vaccine that doesn't have a second dose.
Yeah, there are,
Um,
right? There are vaccines that,
I,
that have one dose, yeah.
yeah, yeah. If that's what you want, if that's what you prefer, this is why vaccines shouldn't be, compulsory. It should always be a choice. I mean, it's your body. Yeah. So that's why you have to be educated enough and to be aware enough. What are your options? And I feel like we just have to work hand in hand with the government. And yeah, I get people like your frustration. If you're working in the private sector, like what vaccine do you get? Oh, but man, dude, oh, I don't get it. Honestly, I'm this kind of person who would always try to find a reason why people do some stuff, like good stuff and bad stuff. Like I try to find a reason why people are doing like these unreasonable things, and really I try to squeeze my brain out to find a logical valid reason where this person is coming from, but not taking a second dose. I feel like that's just I don't know, man. I feel like that's just negligence and just plain irresponsibility. I mean,
Yeah.
can you think of a reason why they wouldn't?
Well, like you said, Rom, it's bull. That's true.
I mean, the local
It's
government has
weird.
like given out its efforts like to devolve, the responsibility of making vaccines accessible to a lot of people. Like they put it in different barangay halls, into different public schools, and even to like private hotels and malls. So I don't get the reason. What was the reason? You get the
Honestly, yeah,
reference.
we don't really yes.
I like that. I like that Cardi B meme reference.
Yeah,
Exactly. It's yeah, it's just really strange, and you're right. We really can't tell what people are thinking, and honestly, I guess the truth will always just be out there.
All right. So, Rom, first and foremost, we really appreciate all this information you've been dishing out. Carlos mentioned you've been
Woo-hoo-hoo.
spitting straight facts, man. It's fire, and we love it. And it's really been educational, and a whole lot of people should hear about it. But then again, we know that's not the only thing you've been up to. Of course, there's a life outside of the hospital, just like any other regular person outside of work. So we also want to give you the spotlight there. You're welcome to talk about anything you're working on right now, your passion projects, or anything else you're doing outside of work. We can even talk about your TikToks if you
Yeah.
like.
How'd you get so jacked, Rom? How'd you get so jacked, dude?
I'm sorry. Woohoo!
Zaddy.
Don't say that. Oh, I don't know what to say. Honestly, at the time of the like months before, or I think it was a year ago, I started selling food in the hospital just uh,
Nice.
because of the isolation
Mm-hmm,
that we
mm-hmm.
had to experience as medical workers, um, who are actually deployed in the COVID areas, because I was one of them. We get a 14-day isolation after like a 7-day shift, like a 7-day shift. And I got time in my hands, and so I got into cooking, and that's actually when I like tried to like convert that into something else, which became like a food selling business, and I called it the Kitchen Rum, or TKR.
Nice.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, thanks, man. But actually put it in pause at the moment because like I just want to keep things real, and it's yeah, I get it. I get this whole point. I feel like this is what everybody is trying to do right now. Everybody's just trying to keep themselves sane. I think, and I know you guys for sure are. And
Oh, we're trying. We're trying.
yeah, and honestly, what I'm doing right now is I've been doing stuff that I put myself in this kind of like catchphrase, I guess. I'm trying to do stuff that I used to fear doing, which is just like okay, let's get this might get a little personal, and if that's all right.
It's fine, man. It's
we
fine.
we love personal, bro.
I just think it's a huge transition from what we just previously mentioned. But yeah, but thanks for the spotlight. So I just really don't like talking a lot about myself, but okay. um, just recently, I wanted to do stuff that I used to fear doing, like man, ever since I was a kid, I felt like I was always okay. I'm gonna be totally honest and vulnerable here. I felt like I was really insecure with lots of
Okay.
stuff.
Really?
So yeah, man, for sure. And that's why I feel like at this point, at this age, in growing older, I feel like yeah, growing up really humbles you so much. You get to realize a lot of red flags within yourself, and you
Oh
know, lots of
yes. So
personality like within yourself.
So
And
true.
just recently, I feel like I'm slowly coming to terms with my insecurities. Hence, like before, I'm gonna be really honest with you, man. I feel like sometimes before, because uh, as a student before, I was always like, I always loved being on stage, performing, dancing, singing, declamation, whatever, all the things you can do on stage. Like I felt like deep down, I felt like I was just, putting it all out there just to hide something within, which is like my insecurities. And I felt like I always wanted to be liked. And then, but you know what I realized? I felt like I wanted to be liked by everybody. That it turned out I was
mm,
loved by
hmm.
like the point where you feel like it's not as genuine as you thought. Like these connections, these relationships you make, whether it's
Yeah.
for friends, families, and all your circles, even your relationships with your career. Like right now, I feel like when I feel like cooking, I'm gonna cook because and then when I feel like creating content on TikTok, I feel like doing it. I feel like because before I was really afraid of doing so many things that are in my head because I've always been afraid of like what people are gonna say, like, oh my god, that's not cool. Like, oh my goodness, that doesn't like fit you or suit you. And then right now I genuinely just do stuff that I feel like is myself. Like I am most myself when I do this. Like when I cook, when I get into fitness, when I dance and when I do some silly random stuff. I feel like when I do these things, all the creative juices like that's in my head feels more organic. And I don't know, I just like being so real right now and just overcoming that fear. And then just if I feel like I fear something, I feel like I should do it even more. And that's what I'm trying to do right now. Just I feel like
Nice.
I'm living a YOLO life and just experiencing life as
Nice.
it is to experience what it is to be fully alive.
Yeah, I
And that's
mean
what's happening.
that it does make sense, right? Like if you fear the fire because you're gonna get burned, I mean, expose yourself even more to become tempered by the flame. That's what Rom's doing,
Yeah.
and I think that's cool because speaking of fire, it's like his body was molded by bronze. It's very nice, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just saying, I'm just saying, and that's all I'm gonna say, and I'm sure Zach agrees with that.
That I do.
We,
Yes.
well, we're all sculptors of ourselves. So
That's
like you have to
that's
put the
true.
paint within of building yourself.
That's true. I mean, yeah,
We
my
both
body, my
and
my body is a temple, meaning it's old and in ruin. That's that's how I describe it.
Damn,
but
bro.
but honestly, just regarding what you said, Rom, that's awesome because I think a lot of
Yeah.
people are still hesitant to do these things because, like you said, that feeling is very relatable. Like going on TikTok or doing these certain things, performing. a lot of people, a lot of people are
A lot of-
they're
sorry. I'm
they're
sorry.
they're worried about judgment, right? They're worried to be
Yeah,
critiqued by other people. But as you get older, you realize it's just one or two people's like opinions. It doesn't really matter. Most people either won't care or will support you. So I think that's better, right? I mean, I'd rather people don't really care what I do because it's
exactly. And,
me.
you know what the real thing is that I kind of realized as well is that a lot of people are suffering the same thing as well. I mean, a lot of people are thinking the same thing as well. That
Truth.
other people are thinking about this about them. But in reality, we're all actually just free. It's just us. It's our perception of people. I mean, yeah, people could have judged us, but it was for a quick moment. They don't really care because what they actually care about is what other people think about them. And everybody's experiencing the same shit, man. So like, just do
Yeah.
you.
Exactly. I mean, we can't be preoccupied with what other people think because, like you said, like 5 seconds later, we're back to thinking about ourselves anyway.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
We're
Unless,
all
yeah.
the narcissistic asshats we are,
Yeah.
and we
That's
go to
true.
concealing it.
That's true. But honestly, it's really great that you mentioned that, and it's good that you're telling us that, you're telling the people listening that, because it's also something to really think about, especially during these times where, of course, thank you for the good news. At least that's something new as we enter the second half of 2021. But still, we can't deny that a lot of despair and dread is happening. So it's great that you mentioned something that could more or less help people see the positive things in life. Honestly.
Yeah, man. And yeah, and you guys don't have to focus on the positive. Just like live life as it is. I mean, positive, like the happy moments aren't gonna last, and so are the sad ones. So like, life goes on.
Enjoy it
So
all. Enjoy it all,
yeah,
man.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Except for back pain, that lasts a long time. So.
Yeah, it's just yeah, it's bodily pains, man, and never something fun.
Yeah. I
Just
mean, the soothing balm only lasts a night. So.
Yeah, and I'm just like, but like before I would complain about it, but like right now I'm just like, it is what it is.
Well, to be fair, I
it
mean,
is what
to
it
be fair,
is.
that is true. Okay, this is just out of genuine curiosity, personal curiosity. But
Dude,
I really enjoy the production value of your TikToks, dude. I mean, it's like. Do you plan these things out? I mean, because sometimes you also get your colleagues in on the fun, and I think that's pretty awesome because they seem game for it too. So could you
uh,
just tell us a
it
little
would
bit about it?
seem so, it would seem so in the video, but it's mostly, to be honest, it's mostly forced amongst my colleagues. They're
Oh,
pretty serious people. They're until they're drunk, I guess.
oh,
So like, well, okay. Well, for such content, all right, let's talk about my TikTok. For these content, sometimes I do. Um, to be honest, I'm this kind of guy who like has a lot of ideas. Like I really let my imaginations run wild, and to the point that I have to write down my thoughts because I would forget them. And most of my thoughts are like feels serendipitous. Like it just feels at the moment, and
mm.
it's so random. So like, oh, like I thought, oh, this would be a cool thing to do. And then I write it down. Like, so this is why I always carry a notebook and a pen. Or if I don't have it, I would type it down in my phone and send it to my messenger, like to my account.
Oh my god, I
That's
do
what
the
I would
same thing. The same
that's what
stuff.
I do. And
Yeah.
then I would just go back to it. And it's like if time permits, I would do it. And if um yeah, so sometimes it's just really out of the moment. Like, oh, this is a cool thing to do. I'll do it right now. But you get like it's hard as to be honest, it's hard with like being a nurse and doing some other stuff because I know we only work 8 hour shifts, but we get extended, man. Sometimes to 12, 14 to 16 hour double shifts.
That's
And
so
then
Yeah.
with
true.
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, when we get home, even with just an 8 hour shift, it's really so draining. We're so drained out and exhausted. But I always tell my friends at work, like, dude, I don't want to get like that drained feeling. Like being a nurse, I don't want it to end after the shift. I feel like I want to do more stuff even when I get home because I want to have a life, but like beyond the hospital. And so I feel like I just got
You
used to
deserve
it.
it, bro. You do.
Yeah, thanks, man. So like I got used to it. Like even if I was drained, like I would try to do something. And so like this TikTok thing, it's really something out of like just it isn't anymore about the likes. It's just really about me having fun and like, oh, this is a cool thing. This is a cute thing to do. Like we could do this crazy random video. So yeah, I'm just really having fun right now.
Nice. I mean, I think Zach and I in the past have talked about the whole concept of wanting the likes, chasing the clout, and
Yeah,
we're
right.
talking, yeah, we're talking about people who we believe, well, honestly, don't really deserve it. But hey, come on, okay, since this is purely audio, but your photo is gonna be on the on the art card of of the podcast anyway. Just to describe Rom, ladies and gentlemen, in case you haven't seen him yet, in case you haven't clicked on the link, which I will provide in the description of his social media. Rom is a very good looking guy. I'm just saying. Aside from the charisma and the talent, yes, yes, Zach. I know I'm basically blowing smoke up Rom's ass. So feel free to stop me.
I will second that motion, and
Yeah,
and I
you'll
was
double
gonna say
down.
I'll
You'll
blow
double
myself,
down on
but
it.
it sounds
Yeah,
so wrong. It sounds so wrong. You know what?
yeah,
Not to sound sus, but we will blow
yeah,
smoke up any. Yeah,
yeah.
Just
And
where it belongs.
and we've known Rom for a while now. Yeah, for quite some time,
We're a
and
little comfortable like that.
yeah, and we know that you, dude, you're just doing things because you want to do them. And especially now that you've validated that, that notion we've had as simply, not because, not for validation or not for the likes, but simply because, hey, it's fun. And yeah, even the gym photos, which are very, very tasteful, very nicely shot,
Saucy.
very saucy.
man.
Hey,
Don't mean to make
hey.
you feel
Not
uncomfortable,
not
dude.
not
No,
being sus. Not being
not
sus.
being
You know,
sus, because we don't,
we
we don't want you to stop. Okay.
we appreciate none. We're just giving credit where
Yeah.
credit is due.
Yeah, but in all seriousness, yeah, this is something that people can take away from this conversation. That it's not really all about thinking how you're going to be judged by people, because as Ram mentioned a while ago, hey, all of us are thinking about ourselves for most of the time, so it doesn't really matter. And hey, another thing to take note of: try things that scare you. I mean, I never thought about that in a long time, and it's nice to have that idea every once in a while, So that's great.
Yeah, I actually want to add something. Like, um, I used to I used to like depend a lot of like my joy and happiness with the people that surround me. Like I would always invite friends to do some stuff. Like even TikTok videos. Like let's get back to that. Like uh like I try to do things that scare me. But now I'm doing this new thing where like I stopped waiting for people to join in if they couldn't, and I would just start doing it by myself. Like imagine like trying to like you know going to a place like you wanted to go, but you didn't go because your friend wasn't free or available, or your family wasn't. So like yeah, I just stop waiting for people to be available and just do it yourself. I don't know. It just feels all kind of freeing.
I can relate to that. In terms of how you mentioned it, yes, I can relate, and that does also sound like my sex life. I stop waiting for people to be available, and I
Yo.
just do it myself.
Oh!
I
Yeah, but
mean,
kidding aside, though,
what?
kidding aside,
I
hey,
cannot
I
with
mean,
I
this.
mean, that was
Wow.
true, but okay.
You got that instead of the Gok 9000, he getting that Jurgens jerk.
yeah, but kidding aside, though, that's it's nice to know that, because it also shows progress, because uh it started off, with, of course, like you mentioned a while ago, waiting for people to get involved. And then because I noticed as of late, you've been doing your TikToks by yourself. And
Mhm.
every now and then you have friends with you, but yeah, the frequency, it's nice. It's also part, I guess, of the whole doing things that you're reluctant to do, or you're kind of
I
hesitating.
guess in a way, like if you try to look at it on in hindsight, maybe I was also afraid of doing stuff alone before, like being that idea of like just being alone or just being rejected by even your friends. I mean, the point of this, what I'm trying to say is that I don't have any hate on like on my friends or colleagues. Like I fucking love them, man. I just learned that you don't have to force shit. You don't have to like chase these people to like do, and then you don't have to wait for things to happen before you start doing things. I mean, yeah, it's like you just choose what you want to do in life. Dude, I realized this just, I mean, so recently that you are really free to do whatever you want, and you're free to become whoever you want to be.
True. And I think that idea is really drilled into our minds lately because 2020 and 2020 season 2 have made us realize how time is both really, really fleeting, really fast, and at the same time, it's really, really slow too. So,
Mhm.
either way, time passes really quickly. So, hey, I mean, it's great that we have this certain notion. So, my goodness. But given that fact, Ram, is there anything else that you have planned, or any other passion projects that you might be working on? I know you've been busy, and the grind is very, very punishing sometimes. But what other things do you might have planned for? I don't know. Let's say last quarter of 2021, or for next year. Do you have you been
Um,
planning ahead that far?
this may sound a little weird. I'm actually like, um, I'm kind of, I'm kind of on the side with my investments. So, I'm really am right now thinking about how I could, try to earn some more income on the side because I've been investing into some real estate, and yeah, this is why I've been thinking like
Nice.
how could I earn some extra money, and actually now that you mentioned that, and it might be pretty weird to say it here, but this is just an idea yet. This is actually like this isn't a concrete plan, but my friends and I thought about maybe what if I try to start a podcast myself or YouTube myself. So yeah, that.
By
Dude,
by all
dude,
means, do it,
why
man. By all
not, man?
means, why not?
If Zach and I can do it, dude, it's the easiest time to do that now, and we highly
Yeah,
suggest it.
you
Yeah.
guys
Yeah.
are like my idols ever since then.
Oh my goodness. Oh,
What?
yeah.
I
We
need to
just.
I need to do a double take
Yeah, I
on that
mean,
because like what?
We'd understand if it were like our batchmates who you'd idolize, but me and Zach, we're
We
like,
we were
we were the
look when we were back in
outliers. We were the
yeah when we
outliers.
were back in that student DJ program, all three of us, bro. I don't know, man. I didn't feel like I belonged, honestly. So I find that while I appreciate that,
Yeah. Nevertheless, we appreciate that. Thank
w-
you. Yeah.
I'm just surprised.
Yeah. And
Maybe yeah, maybe this is what I was talking about. Like like we think so low of ourselves, and turns out yeah, everybody's just thinking the same thing,
true, true, true.
right?
That's right. That's
I
right.
I guess I'm still, I'm at that point where I don't have that uh like super low self-confidence, but it's more like I approach everything with basically a chip on my shoulder, and Carlos knows exactly how toxic that can be at times, especially when it comes to like business and stuff,
Of
man.
course, sexual chocolate. Of course.
I mean, that's a different side of me, Carlos, but thank you.
Yeah, but okay. Before we go off the rails, Ram. Okay. Yeah. I think we we took a turn a little bit there, but that's fine.
It's
Okay.
all blowing smoke up each other, man. That's
Yes.
I don't
Yes.
know how else to put it.
Okay. So it's nice to know that you have plans, and hey, to those those listening right now, to those who follow you and will eventually stumble upon this, they'll also be aware of your plans. So since it's on social media, well, that means you got to do it, Rom. I'm sorry. I don't write the rules. That's how it is. But still, thank you so much for joining me and Zach here and talking about what's been happening, your experiences. We really appreciate it. We appreciate your transparency, you just letting things all out because we understand the frustration. And it was nice. I mean, it's been a while since all of us talked. So this is really something we truly enjoyed.
I learned a
So
lot, man.
yeah. So before we wrap things up, go ahead and tell everybody where they can find you, because I'm sure n- since we've mentioned the saucy photos, they'll want to find you.
Zaddy
Yeah.
at
So
Zaddy Rom
so
Yamat on
so
on on
so
socials and
go ahead
TikTok
and
and
plug thy social media accounts if you may, Rom.
If you're looking for more spicy photos, nah, I'm kidding.
yes.
Nah, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
Yeah, I post random content on my Facebook and on my Instagram. On Facebook it's Jerom Yamat, and on Instagram it's at DJ Yamat. I still haven't changed that. That was like our years before. So yeah.
No man, no man, you deserve it.
Yeah, you deserve it, man. You deserve it. And the TikTok, where can they
Oh
find
yeah,
that?
the TikTok. Yeah, the TikTok.
Most importantly,
Yeah, man. Really, I'm really not conscious about like the likes in the TikTok anymore. But you know what? I did actually gain some following on TikTok. That was pretty weird. My TikTok is, I think it's at Jerom Yamat as well. So it's the
dope.
same as my Facebook handle. It's just at Jerom Yamat.
All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you heard it here. Okay, Rom has been on the grind and he's helping people out both in the medical field and at the same time, of course, online by making all of y'all happy with his saucy photos and very tasteful TikToks. And it has been a
Thank you,
pleasure,
man.
Rom. Thank you so much for joining us. Zach and
Thank
I,
you.
man, we learned so much today.
And we
Thanks to all of you.
genuinely hope that other people out there, those listening, end up sharing it as well, so more people can learn about whatever's going on in the world right now, especially with this pandemic.
Yeah, man. I mean, I hope you guys could like see. Like, I'm just super nodding to everything that we're saying. And yeah, I guess I just wanted to thank all of you, to the listeners of Chances Are. Thank you guys, and to both of you, man. Thanks for guesting me on your show.
Mm.
And that, and I love how like we went through from what I do for work to like what I do outside work. It just goes to show that that there are things that's happening beyond our work, beyond the front line, and that we're still human. And thanks for showing that side as well. And yeah, so thank you guys so much.
No problem. Always a pleasure.
Thank you.
Okay, everybody, just take necessary precautions, social distancing, wear your masks, and hey, take your vitamins, stay healthy, and most of all, don't be afraid to do something that you're afraid of. And we will catch you again in the next episode.
Bye.